Hey everybody, my name is Jeremiah Craig, and today we are taking a look at the Quickdraw Western boot from Ariat. Let's get into it. Before we get into this quick impression of the Ariat Quickdraw, I want to tell you about a podcast that I've been listening to that's actually run by a friend of mine. It's called Colins Conversations, and in it, Colin sits down with people who make a living or try to make a living off of their passions. Basically, he sits down with entrepreneurs, entertainers, and educators and shares their story with some marketing and branding advice mixed in there. It's a really fun thing to listen to. In fact, I was on episode 10 and my dad was on episode 38. So if you haven't listened to it yet, totally check it out at the link in the description. And it's kind of funny because my dad has more listens on his podcast than I do. So definitely help me out and listen to mine. No, just kidding. Listen to a bunch. But that's Colins Conversations on any podcast platform that you listen to. All right, let's get into the quick impression. So usually I do my quick impression videos at different boot stores around the nation. But because everything is locked down, I had to go about a little bit different way of procuring these boots to do a quick impression on. So I recently sold a bunch of my boots, and on one pair I worked out a deal and they were traded for these boots right here. Now I won't keep these boots, but I traded them specifically for this video because I know the Quickdraw is a very popular boot and I wanted to do a quick impression on it. This isn't a brand new pair of boots, but it was worn like maybe once or twice, so we can still get a pretty good first impression on what this boot is all about. And right off the bat, I'm not really seeing anything out of the ordinary from what we usually see from Ariat. This is made in China, so I'm seeing a lot of the things that we usually see from Ariat. Let's start off by looking at the outsole. This is the DuraTread outsole, and it's a little bit different of a DuraTread outsole than what we have seen on the Rambler, but that's the way it goes for Ariat. They keep similar names for outsoles even though they look slightly different. So just keep an eye out for that if you are shopping around Ariat.com or any other website. And one thing that I am noticing here that is a little bit different from several other Ariats that we've looked at is that this is a true Goodyear welt. Now, there are several boots out there that just have the fake stitching on the welt here, but this is a true double-stitched Goodyear welt, and you can tell because the stitching runs on the top and all the way through the bottom of the outsole. Now, they probably still use some cement construction in this boot, which might make it a little bit difficult for your local cobbler to resole, but Ariat does have special resoling facilities that you can mail your boots to if they do need to get resoled. So it's nice to see that they are building this boot with a Goodyear welt. Now, if we move down to the heel, this is a block composite heel. I'm not sure what it is made out of, but it is a composite of some sort. And yet here again, this is something that Ariat does quite frequently, is that they make their composite heels look like stacked leather with these lines in here, which I've never been a really big fan of. It's either make it a composite heel or a stacked leather heel, but don't make a composite heel look like a stacked leather heel. I just have a problem with things on boots looking like something that it's not. So this is not stacked leather. This is a composite heel with lines painted on it. Moving to the Vamp, it is a similar leather that we see on a lot of Ariats coming out of China. It is pretty stiff, but you know, it will break in. Ariats are known for a long break-in period, and once it does break in, it will soften up relatively nicely, but it does take quite a long time for it to get broken in. On the inside here, we have a leather lining on the shaft, and like many other Ariats, it is a cloth lining down around the foot on the inside of the Vamp. For an insole, we have their famous ATS insole, And again, this isn't anything new from them. This is pretty much a standard Ariat boot. So I think that pretty much covers everything. One thing that I do like about this boot is that the toe bug is somewhat blue, and I like the little bit of color that they put at the top of this toe here in that toe bug stitching. It doesn't quite match the stitching that they have in the shaft. It's not quite the same blue, or maybe it is supposed to be, and it's just because these are slightly used that the blue doesn't match. But I do like that it is slightly blue. It adds a little bit of color, and this white piping up at the top of the boot also looks kind of nice, even though it probably won't show very often because us guys wear our pants over the tops of the boots. All right, I think that's pretty much it. Let's try this boot on. All right. They are a little bit big for me. Ariat usually runs that way, especially for their square toe models for me. And it does look good. It does look nice. It is pretty heavy in the heel. That composite heel does kind of throw it a little bit off balance, but I mean, it still feels like a boot, which is something that you run into with the bantamweight outsole from Ariat, is that it doesn't quite feel like a boot. This definitely feels like a boot. The bantamweight outsole Ariats kind of feel like a sneaker. It feels like an Ariat, guys. You got that insole in there. It feels nice. It has that comfort right from the get-go. The leather is a little bit stiff, as we usually feel with Ariats. Like, this feels like an Ariat through and through. The white double-stitched welt really pops, which kind of comes with the territory of a wide square toe like this. But for the most part, this is everything that I would have expected from this Quickdraw Ariat boot. Like I said, the heel is a little bit heavier. It is not stacked leather. It is a composite of some sort. The leather is pretty stiff, but you have the insole and the comfort that Ariat is known for. So there's nothing crazy surprising about this Ariat Quickdraw boot. I know this might seem a little bit like an anticlimactic video, but this is pretty much what we usually see from Ariat. Although I like the fact that they are running with the Goodyear welt on this boot, although it still probably does use some glue construction in here. So just know that it might be a little bit difficult for your local cobbler to repair. However, they do have their own special resoling facilities that if you wanted to get these resoled after this DuraTread sole wore through, which is probably going to take quite a bit of time because it is a rubber outsole. And really, the Ariat is at a price point where it might be more beneficial and more economic just to buy a new pair. I know a lot of folks who like Ariats just go out and buy a new pair because this boot runs from anywhere between $170 to the low $200. So it might not be a forever boot. It might not be a boot that lasts for decades, especially if you're wearing it every single day. But it is going to be comfortable right out of the box because of the insole technology that we are so familiar with from Ariat. So again, nothing too crazy out of the ordinary here. Pretty much exactly what I would expect from a Chinese-made Ariat boot. What do you guys think of the Ariat Quickdraw? Do you have this boot? Let me know down in the comments. Thank you so much for watching today. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Peace. It's that quick draw, quick impression. This Ariat don't keep you guessing. No. It's a regular Ariat with regular Ariat dressings. Hey. Thank you so much for watching today. My name is Jeremiah Craig. Don't forget to subscribe, and I will see you next time. Peace, everybody. Have a great day.